Hi BookTube, and welcome back to Willow's Book Apothecary. I am the creatrix of this channel, Willow. It has finally hit September, and in my world, September and October is all about everything cozy and embracing your inner child by taking part in your favorite pastimes. For me, that is, going back to school as a child and hitting the Scholastic Book Fair, jumping in leaves, going to the cider mill, carving pumpkins, drinking hot apple cider, wearing cozy sweaters. Yeah, it's really the best time of year to just cozy up with a book and a blanket. Just embrace the season. So on top of that, September 13th is Roald Dahl's birthday. And as I've mentioned in one of my previous videos, Roald Dahl really made an imprint on me as a child, especially with Matilda. His books were my favorite to read growing up. Now, mind you, I am almost 30 years old, and I have not picked up any of his books since elementary school. So throughout the month of September, I will be rereading at least all the Roald Dahl books that I can get my hands on. And what a cool way to honor Roald Dahl than to talk about it on BookTube in celebration of his birthday. Let's get into this. This video came from a very wholesome and giddy place in my heart, and I'm shook. I am shook. I am internally shook by what I have been reading. These books are really dark. I don't know if I've just gotten too soft, but I'm surprised by the things I have been reading in these children's books. Let me know in the comments below if you've read any of these books lately, because yeah, I guess I'm just gonna have to get into this so you guys can see what I'm talking about. First up, we have The Magic Finger. The Magic Finger is about what happens when the hunter becomes the hunted. So when the predator becomes the prey becomes the predator. Okay, so this little girl doesn't like that her neighbors hunt ducks, and she has a magic finger that allows her to enact revenge on anyone who pisses her off. That is a lot of power for an 8-year-old. And it's not like, oh, I'm gonna, use it in like a childlike nature. She turns her neighbors into birds, and they get hunted with guns, and like they plead for their lives. This is for kids that are 7 years old. Like, guys, am I being sensitive? Okay, so I just want to read this one page to you so you can get, okay, well, first of all, yeah, okay, so here's the ducks with guns trying to kill these humans, right? Okay. It says, so these are the humans, right? No, don't shoot, please don't shoot. Why not? Said one of the ducks. It was the one who wasn't holding a gun. You are always shooting at us. Oh, but that's not the same, said Mr. Gregg. We are allowed to shoot ducks. Who allows you? Asked the duck. We allow each other, said Mr. Gregg. Very nice, said the duck. And now we are going to allow each other to shoot you. Oh, please, cried Mrs. Gregg. My 2 little children are up here with us. You wouldn't shoot my children. Yesterday, you shot my children, said the duck. You shot all 6 of my children. The Magic Finger. Next up, we have Fantastic Mr. Fox. I actually don't remember, I never remembered reading this in school, so because it has become so popular in pop culture. I was really excited to read it, and honestly, it did not let me down. This is a fun book. It is about 3 greedy farmers who experience theft from a fox every night who is just trying to feed his family. This one's pretty dark too. It is about how greedy we are as humans and how we believe that the land belongs to us when really we are taking away from the land of the animals. And these 3 doofuses, Bogus, Bunce, and Bean, basically hire all their employees to stand around in a circle around a tree waiting for this fox and his family to come out so they can shoot the fox, like, for like days on end. And they agree that they will never leave this tree until the fox is dead. And spoiler alert, the fox just digs a hole underground to maneuver out of their way, and these idiots sit around the tree for the rest of their life because an animal was eating their food. It's really charming, you know? It is about cause and effect and how the action of one person, or, you know, the action of one creature impacts the rest of the animal kingdom in this book. And it is about the greed of human beings, how the human beings are really the animals, and yeah, I think that basically sums it up. You know, you have books that you loved from your childhood and you don't exactly remember them, but you know that they were one of your favorites. Well, for me, one of those books was the Twits. And the fact that this is one of my favorite books scares the hell out of me. The Twits, well, first let me tell you what they say this book is about. Mr. and Mrs. Twit are the smelliest, nastiest, ugliest people in the world. They hate everything except playing mean jokes on each other, catching innocent birds to put in their bird pies, and making their caged monkeys, the Mugglewumps, stand on their heads all day. The Mugglewumps have had enough. They don't just want out, they want revenge. Okay. This book is about 2 deranged lunatics who gaslight and abuse each other, like literally abuse each other verbally and physically. They gaslight each other constantly, and they just take parts in every form of animal abuse you can think of. They're insane, right? The first few pages of this book actually made me like dry heave a little bit because it is so nasty. Like, Roald Dahl does a really good job with his imagery of painting characters, and I actually want to like gag thinking about some of the imagery in this book. I'm get squeamish about very particular things, and he managed to hit the nail on the head. Maybe that's why I'm so squeamish about these things, is because of this book. I don't know. Like, couple goals right here. Look at these 2 hotties. So this is Mr. and Mrs. Twit, right? Okay, so there's a scene in this book where Mr. Twit is tired of his wife, and he's like a crippling alcoholic, which they mention quite a few times as he loves his beer. So he decides to tie his wife up to a bunch of balloons and send that woman off. What? Okay, what? So Mr. Twit, who thought he had seen his ugly wife for the last time, was sitting in the garden celebrating with a mug of beer. Well, guess what? She came back, and look at his reaction. Dude. Shook. Guys, this book is a trip. I mean, like, they are, like, literally abusive towards each other. And, like, they're, like, hunting the animals with guns. And they're, like, super violent. And I'm surprised I turned out okay after reading this book as a kid. So, finally, one book where I can say that it's not a better love story than Twilight. Okay, I need to calm down. Okay, so James and the Giant Peach is about a young boy who becomes an orphan and is sent to live with his 2 psycho aunts, and they are like crazy abusive toward him. And one day he gets, I don't know if you can, this like bag of alligator tongues that are magical, and he trips and falls, and it causes this tree and all of the animals in the ground to basically become colossal. They grow to be like, the peach grows to the size of his house. It is crazy. His aunts, being the slimy scumbags that they are, they make it into a sideshow attraction and making dough off of it. But of course, they're gonna still keep abusing James. I need to read to you, like, just literally what I'm talking about here. Terrible punishments were promised him, such as being locked up in the cellar with the rats for a week, if he even so much as dared to climb over the fence. And then another one says, I wonder what became of that horrid little boy of ours last night, Aunt Sponge said. He never did come back in, did he? He probably fell down in the dark and broke his leg, Aunt Spiker said. Or his neck, maybe, Aunt Sponge said hopefully. Look at this little boy, guys. This is not a little boy. This is like the carcass of a child who has no soul, basically, at this point, because he's been so crazy abused. This is scary. Look at these illustrations. This is scary. So basically, James crawls into this peach. There's a hole in the peach, and he meets all these insects who basically worship him because he made them into like almighty insect gods. And they just go on like a world trip in this peach. Unintentionally kill his aunts by rolling over them with this peach, and they talk about how they celebrated as they heard the crunch of the bones underneath the peach. So yeah, James and the Giant Peach. The final book is George's Marvelous Medicine. I specifically remember enjoying this book as a kid. Again, what? The summary for this book is most grandmothers are lovely, kind, helpful old ladies, but not this one. This book is about George, who is sent to basically stay home with his grandma all day, you know, and his only responsibility is making sure that she takes her medicine at a certain time. This book is about a kid who thought his grandma was too cranky, so he literally poisons her. I was talking to one of my friends about reading this book, and they're like, well, you know, they asked me, well, does she deserve it? You know, was she mean? And I'm like, I think that's besides the point. Like, he literally poisoned his grandma. Yeah, I'm gonna settle my case there. So basically, because she's a cranky old hag, George decides to make a pot of medicine to give his grandma. And when I say medicine, here we go. There's like a ton of ingredients, but let's just do this. toothpaste, hair remover, a Brilladent for cleaning false teeth, deodorant, liquid paraffin, hairspray, pink plaster, floor polish, flea powder for dogs, canary seed, brown shoe polish, extra hot chili sauce, horseradish. Then he goes to his animal shed and he decides to throw in there a powder for chickens with foul pest, hen gripe, sore beans, gammy legs, egg trouble, broodiness or loss of feathers. He throws 500 horse pills in there. He puts a liquid for cows, bulls, and bullocks that cures cowpox, cow mange, crumpled horns, bad breath in bulls, earache, toothache, headache, hoofache, tail ache, and sore udders. Liquid for sheep with sheep rots, pig pills, engine oil, antifreeze, grease. Yeah, okay, so he basically puts in like every poisonous item that he can find in his house into his grandma's medicine. And he actually gives it to her, like, unapologetically, and she catches on fire. She grows through the roof of the house and all the way up into the sky, and everyone's just like, ha ha ha. And then the dad comes home and he's like, do it again. Like, screw your grandma, do it again, I can make some money. And I'm just like, and then he tries to make it again, and it accidentally turns into a shrinking potion, and they give it to the grandma, and she shrinks to the size of like not even to like a microscopic level where they can't even see her again, and they're just like, oh, okay. So yeah, George's Marvelous Medicine is encouraging kids to poison their grandmas and laugh about it. So, guys, what a trip. These books. Like, I haven't even gotten to some of the other ones that I have been holding on to in my heart all of my life, and I'm kind of scared to. Like, I don't know, am I too soft? The overarching theme of all of these books that I read is that the humans are the animals. It's the truth, you know? We kind of just stomp and, you know, take over territory that isn't really ours, and we just take what we want, and we're greedy and we're selfish, and he really shows that human nature. And I think that's awesome. I've definitely had a lot of laughs over this past week reading these books, and we're just gonna keep going. So thank you so much for swinging by BookTube. I would love to hear if you've read any of these books lately or what you remember of them, because it has been an experience. It has definitely been an experience. So I put out new content every Thursday, and like I said, September will be Roald Dahl month here on my BookTube channel. I hope to see you guys back for part 2. Happy reading, BookTube.